What's up everyone and welcome back to the YouTube channel, and for the third straight video I'm going to be doing a video on the Marvel Legends Deadpool and Wolverine yellow suit Hugh Jackman Wolverine. And honestly, this is probably the how-to video I should have started with, but we're going to compare how I did things in my first video to how I'm going to do things today anyway, because I decided I am going to, for now, sacrifice. This was the original Amazon exclusive Wolverine in the tank top, but I was able to get on Mercari and find just the body of the re-release. So I got another one coming in, but my other pre-order for the yellow suit came in. So basically, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna do the arm swap mod from beginning to end using the tank top Wolverine, and I actually think it's going to be easier than the first video I did with the G.I. Joe arms. But we'll compare the two once we get to the finished product. But I'm going to do my best to do as much as I can on screen to help those of you that really want to do this mod at home. So really what we're going to need first is I have a coffee mug, and I have my handy dandy electric tea kettle that I keep out here in my shop. That's how I use the boil and pop to heat figures up. So we're gonna start by dunking Logan into some hot water, and we'll start to pull some pieces apart. So let's hop into it. All right, we got the hot water in the mug. Now we're just gonna put these bodies in there for 30-40 seconds. We'll see if that's enough time. It shouldn't take too long just to pop the arms off. And one helpful hint that I do, especially with these Wolverine figures, is I always take the heads off before I plop them in the hot water, just in case, we don't want to accidentally damage any of the face printing or anything. And also probably avoid putting the claws into the hot water, because they will fall off the hand and they can pop right back in, but they're going to be loose after that. So I avoid putting the heads and the hands in there. All right, let's go ahead and see if that was long enough to pull the arms out of the torso here. There we go. And I try to get, like with the butterfly joints, I try to get my thumb in between there so I can pull them out easier. There we go. There's one arms. Now on the yellow suit, it seems to be pretty easy to get the arms off. Yeah, the butterfly joint is actually just a cap, so that comes off pretty easily. Yeah, you can just pull both pieces out very simply and set that aside. And we'll compare our pegs real quick. So definitely lengthwise, this one's a little longer, and this one obviously has it's got some ridges to it, but it's a rounder joint compared to this one, which was just straightforward to fit through that butterfly joint. But one thing I noticed, I played around with this the other day, is you see there's the socket there inside the torso that ball fit into. With this, it actually fits in there pretty smoothly, and there is some resistance, because if you can see, let's make sure this is in focus. You see that little bit of a ridge on this peg lines up to the edge of that socket right there. So if we can get, I don't know if y'all can quite see that inside there, but it lines up pretty well. But what I will do eventually, or what I will do in a little bit, I'm probably gonna just trim just a little bit of that peg off, and then apply some sticky tack in there, and then it'll push further in there and be very secure. The other thing with this setup is actually works a lot better than the G.I. Joe arms, is that when we take the cap here and we press it through, there's that inner ridge. If y'all can see there, that inner ridge it fits through the cap very well and securely fits on there. So really, you can stick that arm in there with really no modification, and you can have the arm you know, just the way it's supposed to be. Whereas my G.I. Joe mod required a little bit more. Now it's still very easy to pop out. That's why I'm gonna trim a little bit off and add some sticky tack. But look at that. That's a very, very easy mod. Let's go ahead and pop the other one on there. That's very, very easy. Now, the arms are actually going to be a much easier route, I think, once we get the gauntlets are going to be easy once we actually get them off the arm. But that's the next part. We're going to have to put them, let them sit in the hot water for a little bit, much longer than we did with the bodies to get the arms off. So that's going to be our next step, is dropping these bad boys in there to heat this up enough to get, you know, the loosen up that glue residue on that kind of little bit of a peg that's in there. As we see on the arms I did before, there's this part right here was filled with plastic from the inside of that gauntlet. We need to heat it up, loosen it up enough to pry these gauntlets off. So let me go ahead and do that and we'll fast forward. All right, the arms have been sitting in there for a couple of minutes now. Let's see if we can fish them out. Well, I'll leave one in there. Let's see if we can start to pry this loose. It's going to be a little difficult from behind the camera, but you can see it's a very flimsy plastic here, and it's got one thing right. It's got a peg of some sort kind of right there. Our main concern is right there to try to get that loose. So, you know, sometimes you can kind of just, maybe if it was hot enough, that glue residue would have come undone and you could have slid it off, but not quite. I'm gonna plop that one back in there, and I'm probably gonna have to utilize this rusty X-Acto knife, but it's smaller. It's got a smaller blade to it, and it kind of works to get in between there. And really, we're just trying to get up in there to get some separation so we can pull this gauntlet off. And I want to be very careful because I don't want to pierce through the gauntlet by stabbing it with this X-Acto knife. So see if I can keep working on it. I think I'll probably have to throw this, probably have to reheat some water and throw this in again to really get after it. All right, let's fish these guys out again and see what we can do. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit of tear on that peg, that plastic on the inside. Let's see if I take it, taking it from this angle, we might be able to. Okay, so we're sliding off the forearm here. All right, so we got it like that, and now really what's left, we've twisted the gauntlet inside out. There's what's holding it on, right there. I think, yeah, we can just, well, I don't want to be very careful, so I'm going to go ahead. Let's see if we can slice into that. Okay, getting that going. I have no idea if this is in focus as I do this. There we go. All right, let me see if this thing. All right, there we go. It's a little wonky right now, but once we put it back in hot water, it should shape it out back to normal. So now you can see that's what's left, and we still got a good bit of plastic in there. So I'm gonna get this other arm off camera, and then we'll we'll jump back into this to see how we can kind of clear out some space inside that gauntlet. All right, so I got both gauntlets off, and since I kind of manhandled them there to get them off the arms, they were a little warped, so I put them back in the hot water, brought them out of the hot water, let them cool off, and they have reshapen pretty well back to their regular form. But as we can see there, we got that little bit of that peg left in there, and then we really need to shave that down to be able to get it to fit on the arm. So with this much of the block left, I'm just gonna try to trim that out. Nah, we're gonna try this. I don't know if we can stay in focus here, but yeah, just be very careful with that, trying to trim that. Just trying to get most of that block taken care of to make the next step easier. I'm gonna go in with the X-Acto knife. Be very careful, one, not to cut your own fingers, but the two, not to tear into this gauntlet. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of that cut up. Okay. So I could keep trying to snip at it, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go to the next step, which this is what I did on the last time I did this. So I have this kind of bit with my Dremel, this cone-shaped sandpaper finish. So basically what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get the Dremel and I'm gonna get in here and just trim that down as much as I can. So let me go ahead and pull the Dremel out. All right, now remember, anytime using the Dremel, to use proper eye protection and gloves. I am not doing that right now, but remember, safety first. And this is probably not safe because I'm doing this from behind the camera. But y'all get the idea of what I'm trying to accomplish here. Just gonna slowly shave that down, and I will do the rest of that. Not from behind the camera blindly, so I don't injure myself. So we'll come back in a second. So I've managed to go in there a little bit more with the X-Acto knife, clear a little bit more of it out. Now I will get that Dremel and really clear it up in there, and I'll do that with both gauntlets, and then we'll go ahead and step on to the next step. All right, so I was able to clear out as much as I could with these gauntlets. Now, if you don't have a Dremel, you just really need to be very careful with your X-Acto knife or your clippers of getting that little that block of plastic cleared out. But I think this one I got really clear. This one I might need to do a little bit more, but regardless, the next step we're going to do is we're actually going to bring out the hot water again. We're going to put these in the hot water where they're nice and rubbery and malleable, and we should be able to get them up onto these arms. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, so we're about to pull the gauntlets out of the hot water, and I'm hoping that they'll be hot enough and rubbery enough that just with force we'll be able to get them up on the forearms. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. almost where I want it to be. I want it a little higher up on the arm, so I'm actually going to put this in hot water a little bit longer. We're going to get it just a hair bit more malleable. All right, let's give this another try with this other arm. All right. We almost got it there. I think one thing I might do is, you know, in my G.I. Joe arm video, I shaved down the forearms. But I think what I'm going to do on this, I think I just need to get the Dremel back out and kind of get a little bit more opening here at the wrist. And I think I'll be able to get this onto the arm. So open it up a little bit more on the wrist side of the gauntlet. We're going to put it in the hot water and try it one more time. All right, let's try this again. All right. There we go. I'm trying to get that part as close as I can to the hinge. And I don't even know if opening that up did anything, but I think we're a little further up the arm. Let me go ahead and put a hand on here. There we go. It looks pretty good. See, the difference between this arm and the last arm I used where I shaved down, we got a little bit, kind of bulges a little bit there, but you're able to get the gauntlet all the way on there. So I think that's going to work really well. Let me get this other gauntlet on the other arm, and then we'll get the arms on the body. All right, I think we're looking pretty good. I got the gauntlets up as high onto the arm as I could. I think there's probably a little bit of room, maybe if you shave down the forearm to get them higher, but honestly, I think that looks pretty good. I don't think you need to force anything. It's just allowing it to be malleable enough with the heat to push them as far as you can up the forearm. I actually got this one a little higher than that one, so there's some room to play with it there. But the next thing I'm going to do is just try to make our arms a little bit more stable. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to trim a little bit of that off and see if that makes a better fitment. All right, so we're just going to take just the hair off of this. Yeah, so we took just a little bit off the end, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get just a little bit of sticky tack. And put it on the end there, and we'll see about the security of our fit. Let's go ahead, bring Wolverine in. There we go. We're in. Now if you pull, it'll come off. But having a little bit of that sticky tack on there and cutting a little bit of it off allows it to push further in there. And yeah, we're pretty stable there, so I like that. Let me go ahead and do the same thing for the other arm. All right, so we got the gauntlets on, we got the arms on, and this is a really solid look for Wolverine. I think we'll compare my other figure in a second, but this one, I think this is something like pretty much anyone can do if you have those two figures. You can combine it into one. You know, my only complaint is I wish I could get the forearm a little bit higher, the gauntlet a little bit higher on the forearm, but without doing any modification to the forearms, I think this works really, really well. So let's pull in the one I used the G.I. Joe arms on. And I think you can't go wrong with either one. I feel like maybe, I don't know, it's hard to say. I think these arms are like, they're based off of Hugh Jackman, so their arms are the correct shape for Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It just seems like they might be a hair too long, too big, maybe. I don't know. What do y'all think? Which look do y'all prefer? I don't think you can go wrong with either one, but honestly, this is an easier mod than that my original video made it out to be. But yeah, that's basically how you do the arm swap for this Wolverine with the tank top Logan body. And I think, if you have the parts, go for it, because it's I might have been a little convoluted with some of my explanations, but this is actually a pretty easy mod that I think anyone can do. The one thing I want to try out now is I'm going to see how easy it is for me to kind of just be able to swap the parts back onto the original figure, in case you're like me who likes to just kind of have a figure you can swap different looks in and out. So what I'm going to do first, I can just pull these arms off just with a little bit of force. Let's see if we can get we might have some little sticky tack residue. Go ahead, stick that back into place. Stick that back into place. And here's our original arms. See how easy they pop in without heat. Okay. You might have to heat it up to get these back in. Let me just use some off-camera strength real quick. Okay, you can do it with just brute force. I'd probably recommend heating the torso and the butterfly joints back up to make that easier. But let's go ahead, see if we can, we can pull the gauntlets off. Push them back on there. Now they've expanded a little bit, so they're bigger than they were before, but yeah, you pop that hand on, it's not going to go anywhere. Let's get this other hand off and the other gauntlet off. Yeah, see how much more of a gap it is after it's been expanded, but that's all right. It's not going anywhere, especially once you get this hand plugged in there. See it slide down on me? But once that hand's in there, yeah, it's not going anywhere. All right, so you can get Wolverine back to that look. And I know I trimmed a little bit off these arms. Probably will need to heat up the butterfly joints. Let's just see what happens. Well, I know, yeah, we're gonna have to soften up this torso. I'm gonna put this in the hot water real quick and see if we can easily pop those arms back on. All right, so I just pulled it out of the hot water. Yep, slid right back in. Even with taking a little bit of that peg off, as long as you still got the ring around that ridge, you can still put the arms back in. So yeah, so really, with this mod, you don't really have to completely sacrifice a figure, because you can always put that figure back together. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. So I'm pretty happy with this mod. Plus, there's just so many different options you can go with doing it this way. You can put the bear arms back on there, and you can even try to take these shoulder pads off and make a little system. I did in one of my other videos, but you got plenty of options when it comes to how you want to, showcase this Wolverine. So I think that is really cool. I think this is a fun mod that really anyone at any level of, customizing experience can do. But anyway, I want to know in the comments below if y'all found this helpful, if you will be doing this mod yourself. And really, I'm very appreciative of all the likes and the comments I've had over the past week, talking about this Wolverine figure. So I really appreciate the support and the love. Hopefully I've helped out some people and inspired some people. And I can't wait to see what customs everyone else in the community makes. So Thank you guys, and I can't wait to be back again with another video. Might be another Marvel Legends, might be, you know, one of my WWE figures, but either way, more content coming soon. So I'll see y'all then.